What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sales Remastered. My name is Daniel. I'm your host, and this is video 3 of a 5-video series. And each video has its own topic. It's being shot Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Today being Wednesday is video number 3. The topic of this episode in the 5-part series is going to be geared around faith. Faith is a topic that I don't see too much being actually added onto on any influencer's channel unless it's like a very religious channel. And a lot of viewers or audience members right now, may view faith and immediately think of religion. And I want to share with you, the role that faith played in my life, as well as how I use faith right now to win. And I hope that through this story and through these feeds and all the other content at Sales Remastered, whether you found it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even Snapchat or salesremastered.com, I hope that you like the content. Look forward to your comments and your feedback, whether it's on the post or through a direct message. I appreciate the attention. And so in return, I'm going to share with you some real helpful content. And again, going back to the topic at hand, which is faith, I want to tell you what faith had to do with me and how I learned about faith. Faith growing up, I'm Filipino, so my background is predominantly Catholic, and so religion played a role within my life, and to a degree it still does. Of course I believe that there is an energy, a higher energy, a bigger being, that if you can demonstrate faith, whether it's in yourself or in this being or in a higher power, that you can kind of keep yourself in check, right? And faith tested me, throughout my years. For those of you who know about my background, I won't go too deep into the younger age, but I want to tell you something that happened when the market collapsed. And I'm going to share with you because I was around 27 at the time. It was 2007 when the market declined and ultimately changed. So I was about 26 years old, and my world changed. It dramatically changed, like night and day. For years prior to the market collapsing, I was working in real estate, doing what I do now, and that's residential financing. And when the market collapsed, for those of you too young to remember that, it mainly happened because banks froze up, so they stopped giving credit, and my business relied on credit. Not everyone can just buy a house outright, and so they leverage their ability to refinance to get cash out, pay off debts, or even buy a house for that matter. And so when the credit lines dried up and banks were not lending anymore, I didn't have any business. Property values were going down, so no one was buying property. And of course, ultimately, your income changed, right? Because I was 100% commission, and I was making anywhere between $30,000 to $50,000 a month, which is another fucking fun fact for you. I was working less than what I was doing now. That's another story, and I'll dive deeper into that on another episode. But I want to share with you kind of what can happen when your faith is tested. And through those younger years, I worked hard, just like what I do now. I was always focused, always doing my best to be the top of my team, or top of my department, or top of my sales for my company. And so I kind of always had that within me. I always had that mindset. And my world before the market collapsed, making that much money, I bought my first house when I was 23 years old. I had 2 cars. I had a Cadillac Escalade and a Lexus. I was really doing it. I had a nice, huge house, and I was young. I was the youngest homeowner on my block, and I thought it was the coolest shit, and I was still young. I was still adolescent. So I was still the one in the fancy car that, opened the door and it smelled like weed, and I was wearing some knucklehead shit. Back in the day, the styles were different, so I'm not going to dive into that. But I was the kid who took pride in that. Like I was the suburban thug, right? Because I was still kind of in that mentality. And as you get older, you kind of grow out of that. But I want to share with you the lifestyle that I had. And so during those years, you know, making that much money at being so young, you don't think it's going to stop. You know, and I had a lot of elders around me and people within my sales floor who recognized how good I was doing, and they would always give me some advice, but I was too young to take that advice because I didn't know, you know, I didn't know what was in store. I was so young, and I thought and I believed that it was just going to go on forever, you know. And when the elders told me that I should be stacking money to the side or go and buy investments or stocks, at the time, you know, gold was very cheap, and there, you know, I was being influenced to go buy gold, and I was told here and there that it's not always going to be this strong. You know, you got to be prepared for when it's not strong anymore. It's a cycle. It's a cycle, and it's been happening. Little did I know at the time that the shit is just, it's a repeat cycle. So it goes up and it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. And that's just the way it is. And I already know that something like that will happen again. We're actually in the midst of it kind of happening right now, where the market's kind of shifting, it's changing, got new, you know, there's a lot of moving parts that plays a role. But at the time that I was receiving the information, I didn't have faith in their doubt. I didn't have faith that they knew what they were talking about. I was young and I made more money than they did. That's for sure. I was dominating their numbers. And so I was very confident that I was always going to have another 30 or 50 the following month. And I lived like that. You know, I went out all the time, bought stupid shit, you know, just because that was the status quo. And ultimately, even though I made that much money, I spent it up. I spent it faster than I can make it. I spent it once I knew the sale was closed, before escrow even paid me on my shit. Because I knew I was so good, I had faith that it would continue. I had faith that I could just do it again. And so because of that faith, it led me to just spend like the shit wouldn't stop. Like it literally growed on trees. And I couldn't justify the purchases that I made today, because I think back at it, I'm like, man, what the fuck was I thinking? And you may be in that position right now. You may be the younger version of yourself right now. And when you get older, 10 to 15 years older, you're gonna look back and be like, damn, bro, what the fuck was I doing? What was I thinking? Should I have taken the advice? Should I have found a mentor that could kind of guide me through? And that's why I'm glad you found me. And if you find the content useful, apply it. But looking back, I don't like to say I regret anything. I learned from it. And so what I learned from it, I hope I can share with you, so that you learn before you go through it. And so even though at the time I was making a good amount of money, as I had mentioned, I spent it faster than I could make it. And so I had all these beautiful material items. But when the market tanked and the market hit, my mindset, my buying decisions, my daily habits, it didn't change. And so for about 3-4 month period, there was that speculation, oh man, the market's gonna go down, something bad's gonna happen, you know, money's not gonna be like this. But my faith is what kept me pushing forward and be like, no, it's okay, you're good, you know what I mean, like, we'll just pray about it, it'll be okay. And then kept moving. And where I'm getting at is that faith can either push you or weigh you down, much like the other topics of this 5 video series. The first one was about insecurity. Second one was about motivation. And the takeaway from insecurity is that your insecurity is an illusion. Your insecurity as to why you're not making, or you're not taking the next step, or you're not making any moves, is because there is an insecurity that is ingrained into you from a past experience, or from the past experience of others. And then yesterday, which was Tuesday, that topic was motivation. I shared with you how motivation can either weigh you down, or motivation can lift you up, right? It can push you higher. And the takeaway from that is that most of society is motivated to keep their environment happy, meaning that they are motivated to keep people within their circle happy. Meaning that if their circle tells them, oh, that's impossible, bro, you're never gonna make it, to make that person happy, the individual will accept it. And they'll basically anchor themselves, because they are motivated to keep their environment happy. They're motivated to keep their mom and dad happy. So they're taking a job or going to school and they genuinely don't want to do it. And then motivation can also help you because the environment can motivate you as to why you need to get the fuck up out of there. And so you could be in a bad area, you could be in a good area. It doesn't matter. You just want to surround yourself with a different mindset, and understanding the difference can motivate you to get there. But in this particular video, when I talk about faith, faith is not just religion. Faith is the ability to see your vision and believe in it passionately. Because when you have faith, right, you're going to kind of take a step back, look at it for what it is, and kind of just go at it blindly, you know, because you have faith, believing that something's going to happen, believing that something, you know, will change. And much like my example in my earlier years, I had faith that money wouldn't stop. I had faith that, you know, I was always going to make 50 grand per month during those years. I had faith that everything was covered. But the learning or the takeaway from this video is that there was an underlying sense of denial that I had, because I didn't want to change my habits. I didn't want to change my daily lifestyle. Money was my identity. I was the one they called Book MD, you know, Book MD. Like, I had nicknames because I was so good at what I did, and people would ask me to sell their shit for them, and I did, because I was just all about, you know, helping people. I'm a helpful motherfucker. And where I'm getting at is that whatever faith you have right now, whether it's faith that you are going to make it, or whether it's faith that you are going to continue making it, faith plays a role in your life right now. And what I guess my main message here is that you have to recognize when faith works against you. You have to recognize that the difference between faith and denial, or faith and resistance. An example is that you'll see a lot of individuals, right, who go about it and they have nothing but faith. They have nothing but faith that you know, if they think about it, it'll come true. You know, that law of attraction. They have faith in the law of attraction. But there's a sense of denial within it, meaning that they'll have faith in the law of attraction, meaning they'll sit there and think about all the good shit, all the good things that can happen and will happen for them. But the sense of denial comes from, you know, they don't have to do anything, meaning that they accept the law of attraction, and through faith they believe they don't have to do any actions. They just have to keep a positive mindset. And you'll know these individuals because they'll tell you, even in your pitch or as you walk by or in your circle, they'll say, oh, it's okay, we'll just pray about it. You know, God has a plan for me. And just kind of put all responsibility in external factors. It doesn't even have to be God. It could be your parents. It could be your auntie, your uncle. You're looking for reason to put your faith in them so you can unleash the responsibility on your plate. Meaning that you're more about thinking in the back of your head. You may be denying it, but you may think in the back of your head like, okay, cool, I'll just do, because they're doing it, so I'll just do what they say, and then if I fuck up, I'm just going to blame it on them. They'll actually go in feeling comfortable thinking that way, and that's where the sense of denial comes from. But in today's episode, I share with you my experience with having faith, because as I was going down that rabbit hole and ultimately digging myself back out, I had to have faith that I was going to dig myself out. I had to have faith as I went through different industries trying to find my way. I had to have faith when I was new to that industry and couldn't make a sale. I had to have faith that as long as I continued to practice my craft and I understood that repetition is key, I would become great. I had faith that I will someday be back at where I need to be. And that faith held me and pushed me further, because at the time I needed that faith most, I was not experiencing the things that I needed the faith for. It's much like the saying, I remember when I used to pray for the things I have today. That is faith. So I hope this video helps you. Please leave your comments below. If this is your first time coming by Sales Remastered, I appreciate your attention. Please consider liking the page. If you look under the video, there's links on every other social platform. If you're already on there, do me one and please like and support the hustles. Subscribe, follow, like, comment, share, and let let others around you come across this content so that they know what they're experiencing right now. It's not just them, it's not just you. You know, everyone goes through it. We just all have different ways of going about it, and those different ways of going about it are going to yield different results. You just need to have faith in finding the content here at Sales Remastered is going to help you maneuver through those tasks, through those hills. You know, it's going to help you climb. And yeah, so I'll see you at the top, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.